We're back from Destin. We went on vacation, Destin, Florida, and now we're back to talk about it and some other stuff happening in the golf shop here on What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Welcome back to What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Jim McCleary here. Why is it What's in My Drawers? Because old club makers and club fitters are tremendous pack rats, and I'm no different. And it starts off being about what was in the drawers of my shop. And now we're talking to people from around the world of what's going on for fittings, repairs, opinions, and all kinds of other stuff. So we're going to get started right away. This is Bob. You guys hear about when I say my buddy Bob, this is him. And we just got back from a week-long trip to Destin, Florida. And everybody all day today I was asked, well, how was your trip? How was your trip? How was your trip? And I said, well, it was a lot like this. Yep, that's what it was for the first four, we were there 7 days, and the first four or five were just like that. They were overcast. It was blustery, started in the low to mid 50s and got up into the mid 60s, sometimes into the 70s. And if we went down there expecting to wear shorts and golf shirts and ended up wearing shirts and golf shorts and windsuits and rain gear and and then then what happened was we had weather come in. The next day was in the 70s, but overcast and even more blustery. And then we got a tornado, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, the tornado!" And it blew all the chairs up into the corner. It looked like something right out of a movie. And I was like, "Holy smokes!" And then this is what it looks like after the tornado goes by. So it no more than came and it turned around and disappeared, but it brought sunshine. But if you notice, the palm trees were whipping around like nobody's business, and it was it was still very, very blustery. In fact, we had a round scheduled at 8 o'clock in the morning as we were having a tornado warning, and I said, yeah, it's probably a little bit more than a 3-club wind. When we were out there, and they were being smarty alecky right with me, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we had a member out there," and he says, "Yeah, it's a little more than 3-club wind." I said, "Well, I don't think you had a tall enough club," but anyway, we got out there and you got to see. But although it did bring some nice weather, and we finally got to see, it calmed down actually about a few hours later, and it actually almost got down to nothing.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad. So. A couple of things before we really get started into this, and I wanted to show you guys. So Callaway has got something out there. They're going to be pushing a lot of putter fittings in the next couple of weeks, and it's just about getting fit to the Callaway brand. However, if you go into a Callaway fitting center like I am, they sent us some golf balls with a QR code on them, and it looks like this. So if you guys have something, I'm going to leave this up here for a bit. For those of you that got the ability to scan, I would take a look at this, because what it does is it provides you a website. Of course, Callaway has it, and it has a lot of tips, putting tips from like Pete Kenyon or Paul Kenyon, and who is an excellent putting instructor, plus a couple other videos, some blog posts, just a lot of information on putting. All right. I'm not trying to sell you the putter. I'm just trying to show you where there's information to improve your putting. And you can do that by scanning this QR code. and it'll take you right there. So if you need it to come back on, let me know, and we will put it back up there for you to scan. But it does pretty good. All righty. So we drove in. We took off at night, or took off one day, and we drove about 10 hours. Got to Ashtabula, and then the next morning we went in and we played Windswept Dunes. Windswept Dunes. And Windswept Dunes, what'd you think?
Oh, I liked it. Yeah.
It was and this is part of it. So we got to play with a couple of younger guys that were extraordinarily friendly. They installed pools for a living.
Yeah.
They installed pools, and I said, well, in Florida, that's kind of a business to have. And they were like up to what they said, like 60 pools in a year.
Yeah.
It was crazy the number of pools they were putting in. Anyway, not bad. They were one young man had a new family with the kids that were just in there. I got to chase him around phase, so his golfing days are numbered. And the other one was just took up golf for a bit, and they both pounded the ball. And here's another one. And these were kind of if you look, you see I'm giving you long shots because this course actually was quite long.
Yeah.
It was quite long. They had 4 sets of tees, right? 4 sets of tees. Now down there, the greens were the senior tees, not like the golds are up here. Greens, whites, blues, and blacks were the traditional. And then they came up with some other ones that were numbered, 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s. In order to, you can pick whatever. You could just combo set anything you wanted to. So it was really kind of a neat change that you didn't have to feel like you were locked in.
Yeah, I never seen so much sand though. If you got in the bunkers, it was like up above your shoes, maybe about to your ankles.
Yeah.
Just almost impossible to hit out of.
Yeah, a lot of particularly Windswept had one.
Yeah.
And so where did we all play? Windswept Dunes. And we played, the next one was that that wasn't Kelly Plantation, but we did play Kelly Plantation.
Yeah, that was at Kelly Plantation.
And then we played Indian Bayou. And then we played, what was the other, right next to Kelly Plantation?
Regatta Bay.
Regatta Bay, that was the other one. And then the last one we played was at
Regatta Bay. You didn't like it.
I know we just said it, Regatta Bay. What was the last one?
Emerald Bay.
Emerald Bay was the last one. So there we go. So now we know what we're looking at.
God, you're supposed to be there to give them the answers.
I don't remember them. I'm too old.
So anyway, we got in there. We got to Windswept Dunes. The fellas inside were a little bit stressed. Well, that's the polite way of calling it. The guys on the outside running around, checking on folks, super duper nice. The course was actually in really good shape.
Which one was that?
The first one, Windswept.
Oh yeah, the Windswept was real good.
Yeah, it was in nice shape. The greens they weren't super fast, but they weren't exactly slow. Keep in mind we're at the beginning of the growing season now, so a lot of stuff was popping up. And but yeah, there was a lot of sand everywhere. That one had waste bunkers as well. So it was a pretty good challenge. You could get out to it was just shy of 7,000 yards from the tips.
Yeah.
And that's what we kind of took on at the last three rounds. We'd play the whites, and right around 6,000. And on number 18, we'd always play the tip.
Tips. Yep.
We went to the tip just to see what we could do.
That one was 600 yards, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was I think that was Kelly.
Yeah.
And Kelly Plantation, number 18, was nearly 600. Well, it was 600 yards.
Yeah, I think it was 600 plus.
And you had to cross water to get to the green, so you had to golf your ball in order to get there. And the funny part is that you think you get tore up by doing it, and we parred a couple and bogeyed a couple. So I'm thinking we were doing all right. All right. So one of the iconic places in Destin is McGuire's Irish Pub. Right, it is a pub that it's exactly what it sounds like. It is very well taken care of, and there are dollar bills everywhere. And look, even in the ceiling, And this was just a chunk of the ceiling, and the dollar bills were just everywhere, and they were starting to get onto the sides.
I asked him how many was there, and that lady said over 1 million. There was 1 million.
$1,000,000 bills,
Yeah.
and most of them hanging from the ceiling there. But they were starting to get the lady. If you wanted to put one on, you could put a little message on there, and you could staple them up onto the wall. So we left one that said McGough. The other social redeeming value is the stuff that you could drink. So Bob is not a big drinker, which saves us all when we go out. So I had the Irish wake. Mrs. McGough had the Godfather. Actually, this was called the Godmother when they were putting it together for her. And then this one was not McGuire's Sushi, but it was called the Dragon
Queen.
Yeah, the Dragon
Yeah.
Queen, and their drinks. And they only let you buy the maximum of 3 of those, as you can tell by the size. So it was pretty cool. All right, so our next course was this guy. This is in the middle of the course. And this was Kelly was first, right?
Yeah.
No, Regatta Bay was first. I think
After we got there?
yeah.
Yeah, Regatta Bay was on Sunday,
And
then we had to change it.
Yes. And then we got back into it. So if you look here, and what you're seeing that is exactly what it looks like. There is a ton of junk from the tees, and that was you had to have a good 220 carry, if not more, in order to throw it over top of that. Now, to kind of show you, this is kind of what it looked like going to it. And there, I think this will probably get you where you need to.
Like I made it, Jim.
So if you're having trouble getting the ball in the air, you're going to struggle on a couple of these holes. And in every single one of the courses had a warning sign for snakes and alligators, and we never once saw one. Didn't see no snakes.
Nope.
Didn't see no alligators, which didn't hurt my feelings one iota. All righty, so here's another one. So to kind of give you the idea of how blustery it was, of course, in Florida, there's water on every hole and sand just waiting to grab you. And I wanted to show you, see that American flag there in the background? That American flag is easily a 20-footer, all right, as a 20-footer. And it is sideways. That is the kind of wind we're playing in basically five out of 6 days.
Yep.
5 out of 6 days, that was the wind we were playing in. So you had to play. We got to the point, the first 2 days we just got tore up with it. And then we finally started throwing them out to the right and the left, and we were into the teeth, and then you were with it. And, there was at one point we had a 150-yard shot, and that's normally a soft 9 for me. And I had to kill a 6-iron to get there. It was the blowing on is that good. So Regatta Bay. Okay, so let me preface this with a statement. Regatta Bay and Kelly Plantation were by far and away the most expensive golf courses. And the layouts were really, really nice for both of them. But if I'm going to pay, it was $200 a round. That was the rate on time in season. And that's fine, except for when you get up to what in both cases, easily a third or even more of the holes were burned up. And it could be from overwatering. They could have had a lot of water. They were adjusting trying to fix the parts that they were trying to get around.
They dug it up and had put new sod down around some of the greens.
Right. And if you're going to do that, you want to keep the place nice and tight to be sure, but that is something that you probably ought to warn the folks about. because we get out there and this thing is it's chewed up from either repairs or overwatering or overseeding or something, and it just wasn't as nice as you would think a course of that nature would be. And that was the only disappointment. The layout was awesome. The challenges were there, everything you wanted. It was just course condition wasn't nearly as what it should have been, and that's the part that disappointed. It disappointed me because when you're coming up and you're within 100 yards and you got to fight what I call it like either a crabgrass or a frog hair, where they're like little patches. You remember?
Yeah.
They were everywhere. These little patches that just hadn't had a chance to get mowed down yet. That causes that for me. That's a problem, and that's what we were looking at. But I mean, it seems like this. I mean, it looks real nice, but if you look really close in the front, it's that kind of stuff that we're talking about. And then if you get all the way in the back, you see a little bit of brown, and that's the green, right? And that's what I'm talking about right there.
The wind blowed so hard that hit the driver, four wood, and then got down to where hitting the irons. It was just that bad. I mean, It was horrible. I've never seen it blow like that before.
And that's part of the weather too. But we're looking at and we were joking. The statement of the week was new and creative ways to make a 5. Whether you were on a 5 or a 4 or a 3, it was new and creative ways to make a 5. And you would get up there, and the other part is that the guys making the holes.
Yeah.
And you take a little bit more time, brother.
Yeah.
Take a little more time and quit making the mounds. I bet I missed, I don't know, easily 20 to 30 putts to the right. And it would go right. It was going straight at the hole. I thought, I got this. Finally, I can put one on Bob. And it would turn, and you would look, and it'd be right where the green was pulled up from them pulling the holes. And it wasn't a little bitty mound. I mean, it was substantial. It was a good round piece, like they were pulling it up and off. And it was just enough. Now, you could say, well, sissy, you just need to hit it harder, and that way you can go right through it. And you'd be right. You would be right. But that was the other thing, that the green speeds were dramatically different.
Oh, yeah.
We had some that were you couldn't get it to the hole. And then we had some you just breathe on them, and off it went. But so that was Regatta Bay and Kelly Plantation. And that was
exactly right across the street from one another, wasn't they?
Yep, they were right next to one another. There we go. This is more of the same. Okay. There we go. This was not Regatta Bay. This was Regatta Bay, where you had to see more scenery. Now I will say, from a scenery perspective, the 3 or 4 of these courses were extraordinarily scenic. Lots of water. Of course, you're on the Gulf, and on the other side of the Gulf was the Choctawhatchee Bay, and which was another very large body of water. And you got to, boats were going by, the wind was sweeping through the water. Neat little, just thought certainly we're gonna pop up on an alligator.
Yeah.
But we had something that looks a lot like that, right? And there you get to see the bridge, and there was all kinds of that everywhere. Something here in the mountains of Ohio you just don't get to see. And then going through there on one of the holes, there was across the street was a place where you park your boats, and it was like 4 stories tall. Yeah. And on the side, we stopped, and I just happened to have a really good gander at one, and that's what some of the painting on the side was. And just all kinds of different whales being put up on it. Then we had, there we go. We were following it. Indian Bayou, right? Indian Bayou. By far and away our most favorite golf course.
Oh, yeah.
Indian Bayou. Yeah, that one was, it was well maintained. It's an older course. The links. That was the other one. We didn't talk about the links. The Indian Bayou was, I call them mid-priced. It was less than 200, more than 100. And the folks inside and out were very friendly. I got to talk to a fitter for a bit, talked to the guys that was the starter, and just a real nice. It was just a real nice atmosphere. They were very, very, very proud of their golf course, and that was something that we didn't see at the rest of them. And
that's where they was talking about the greens, wasn't it?
uh-huh.
On the putting green, it was as fast as it was out on the course.
Yeah, that's another thing. When you go to these places that, you go to the practice green and you putt to try and get a feel, and you got this really, you're doing really well, and you get out onto the course, and the green is not like what you're actually playing on. And they made a point to tell us that it was exactly the same, and they weren't lying.
Yep.
They weren't lying a bit. And was it there or the one before that? Regatta? I think it might have been Kelly Plantation, where you were talking about the sand, and they kept.
Oh yeah, where it's deep.
Yeah. So we're playing, and of course you can't. If you go to Florida and you play golf and you don't get into the sand, you're either extraordinarily good or extraordinarily lucky. And we're playing in this sand, and you go to take this step in the sand, and you easily sink where that sand was coming up over our shoes, and we're like, well, what Satan golf course superintendent is doing this? And we no more than we're kidding around with it, and we clean up and we drive down 2 holes. There's this guy with this tractor and a trailer,
Yeah.
and with this monster trailer, and the side on this trailer is what, 3 foot tall, full of sand, and he's filling up these bunkers full of sand, just driving it in there, dumping them out. And I guarantee you that dude put at least 3 tons of sand in each one of these times every time we saw him. And I'm like, holy smokes. It was like a guaranteed fried egg every time. But we got to see some more. This was the links. It was a part of the Sandustin area.
That was the last one, wasn't it?
No, this was that one with the sausage biscuit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this was we came up on a couple of nice guys. Yeah, this was the links. This was actually, for what it was very, very nice.
Yeah.
And you get to go out onto the ocean, and I got one more video for you guys on this, and here it goes, that same hole. Did you? Well, oh, that's the. All righty, so the so that was at the Links Golf Course. We ran into a couple of guys that were playing as singles, and they paired us up with them. 2 really nice guys.
Yeah.
They were a fellow that was from Atlanta, owned a wine tasting restaurant, and the other fellow was from North Carolina, right?
Yep.
The locksmith.
Yep.
He was a locksmith, and both younger guys. And so this would be my fitting topic of the day. And we were playing with him, and strong younger guy, and had about 4 extra articulations in his swing. He would take it back, collapse, and pull back, pull down, come out, come through, come out, and articulate back just the opposite direction. And just was putting it everywhere. And we made the turn, and I said, okay. I asked him if he didn't mind me giving him a piece of advice, because I really don't like doing that unless they really want. But he was struggling, and we wanted to make golf fun. And I said, do you mind? He says, oh, no. And I told him, choke up an inch on every one of his clubs, because he was a shorter fella. And so choke up an inch, and don't worry about hitting it so hard so that you have to reach back just so far. I don't want you slowing down. You just don't have to reach all that far back. Very first shot right out of the box.
Oh yeah.
Like a cannon. Just boom. And every club after that was just like that. It was just it was funny because he just started kind of bouncing around, and he was having so much fun with it. It wasn't even funny.
That first one he hit, he turned around and had such a big grin on his face. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, and he's like, so the last 4 holes he played to 1 over. Did you notice that? He played the first 4 holes he played to like 6 over. And the last 4 was 4 or was 1 over. And he's like, dude, I'm gonna buy you a beer. I'm buying you a beer, man. I'm like, you're all right. And but it was a good time. So certainly the links now, it's got more of a muni feel to it, but it's not nearly as expensive either. And it's very, very busy. There's 3 other courses on that range that a lot of people like. We just happened to pick that one, and it was very nice. It really, really was. It didn't have the super deep sand, but there's a lot of character with a lot of water in play, as you saw, and it was actually pretty nice. And there's more of the same where you can see the bridge going over. That was that bridge that went from hole to hole right there. That was that long one. Okay. And you see the palm trees are starting to turn to the side on us. But this is the kind of stuff that we are looking at all day, right? Better than snow and better than 20-degree weather, that is for sure. And there was this was just before the storm. And you see how it was green and stuff. More going towards the hole. Here's another one. Yeah, there was more. That was from our balcony, seeing it come in. There we go. That was more of Indian Bayou. You get to see that it was just cleaner. It just really, really clean. More of that, and this was after the storm. All righty. Yep, you can tell when the sun was out, we were at Indian Bayou. There was the last one, right there, 18. And this was here's one for you. You don't get to see a car like this in a golf parking lot very so often. I'd like to scroll in for you, but that ended up being a Rolls Royce. I just thought that was unique. You don't get to see Rolls Royces in parking lots. It was just a good time to be at. So, going to Destin, if you're going to the beach and you want to relax and have a good time, there was good food to be had all over the place. Donut Hole, Outback was real good. I mean, we ate at Miller's Ale House, all good stuff. It's a plus. The beach was super duper nice.
Ate the best hamburger I've ever had
That's
was
right.
it the Miller's?
Yes.
Yeah.
The prime rib burger.
Yes. Excellent.
Yep, good burger. What do you think from a golfing perspective?
I liked it, but I actually liked Gulf Shores a whole lot better. It was just the folks were so much more at ease and friendly.
There's a different vibe, to be sure. Will you run into good golf courses? The answer is yes. Yes, you will. They're all have their own unique positives to them. In about a month, I think you'll be hard pressed to find a scar or a bad place on a couple of those places. I just think it'll come around to that. Bang for buck, I don't think so. But that's for you guys to determine. Would I go back if the wives want to go back? Then yeah, we're going back. But like Bob said, I think the Gulf Shores was just as nice, and the vibe, it was just a little more casual, a little easier to go, and the courses were just as nice. And that's where we're at. Okay, so there's that one. Something that we just now are hitting some new golf shafts. And we're going to have to do a video on these because remember I told you that we were putting in new I-Series shafts. Now, Acra has come out with a TZ line, and it's a chrome-plated one. The TZ this is the 75-gram TZ. Now, what these are, if I'm gathering this correctly, what these are shafts that should be in these weight categories. The profile is a little bit more stiff, a little bit more beefier. So even in this lightweight 75, that if you're an aggressive swinger, you might be able to pull that around. So if you're one of those older folk that just is really fast back and really fast forward, but the clubs just feel too heavy, that very well may be the issue. You might find that out. Now, they come in several different kinds. You saw the 75. There's an 85. There's a 95. And here's what's getting me. Here's a 105, which I think is going to be very, very, very popular. And then for you gorillas out there, a 115. These are 115s. So these are not, they don't come in a designated flex. They come in a weight. And I guarantee you, as the weight goes up, so does the flex. But there's a lot of tip section on it so that a club maker can adjust some flexes. Now, probably it won't be very much. I would say maybe a flex or whatever. It's got the ion outside of it, so it gives it that chrome look so that you can fool your buddies if you're still swinging graphite and they think you're swinging steel. So we got that coming, and I've switched over to putting some star grips on them, and they'll have. I'm going to go to gray. Why gray? I just thought it was cool. There's no rhyme or reason. I just thought it would be neat, and I think it goes good with this one. It offsets the black one. And just getting away from tradition for a little bit, and that's what we're doing. All right. So the fitting issue is that we're talking about. We saw a lot with guys that were swinging, that were shorter guys that were swinging a lot of standard length clubs, and they were struggling. They really were struggling. Not necessarily with contact, but with face angle and just like bringing a baseball bat around. If you're having a trouble with it, you might want to shorten your club, or if you're inconsistent, you might want to shorten your club, unless you're like 7 foot tall. All right. Let's go to the top of this and let's see what we got here. Here we go. Matt. Hello, everyone. Shot 1 over. Remember Matt? This is the guy we went golfing with at Crown Hill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shot 1 over my only round. Our great weather is stretch. Question, how many golf balls do you typically go through in a season? How do you store your gamer golf balls? Well, I can tell you I went through a box of them in a week down there. And you're this, put stuff into the trees, dump them into water, that kind of stuff. But, that was literally my first 5 or 6 rounds down there.
Yeah.
I started keeping it in front of me more and more and more, but I bet I'll go through, I don't know. I'll probably go through 6 dozen. I think easily. What about you?
Yeah, probably about that. Yeah.
About 6?
Yeah.
So the question is, what kind of golf ball do you use? Right? Even when we're going through that, and how do I store them? I keep them indoors. I don't, whatever I'm using is in the bag. Whatever I'm not using stays in the box. And I just keep it here in the fitting room is where I keep them.
Keep mine in house too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they, so what I'm playing is the Chrome Soft XLS. Well, do I have the swing speed for the Chrome Soft XLS? No. Can I find the middle of the club face? Yes. But what it is that my angle of attack is very steep and I create a lot of spin. So everything with a lot less spin works for me. And then that's how that was going. Oh, we're going to talk about the Paradym here in a little bit too. So we're going to get down here a little bit and we'll talk about the Paradym. All right. Mike from Buffalo played 2 rounds. Both minus 270s, playing the best golf ever currently. Well, I guess the college is going to like you this year.
Yeah.
There was Michael. He was the one asking us while we were down there if we were going to get onto it. Michael, thank you for watching us, bud. We appreciate it. There's Charles. This is Charlie. He's over in the East Coast. Played 2 rounds this past weekend, striking the ball well, just having trouble on those greens. Those big punch marks are not going away. Irrigation's down, so no rain, no water. So
Yeah. Been there and done that.
What do we call it when you were trying to golf through all that?
The Plinko machine.
Yeah, the Pachinko machine. It's like golfing on a Pachinko machine.
Don't know where it's going to go.
Nope. Hope your trip was smooth. All went well. Well, it went really good all until the way back. On the way back. So another story. So it's a 12 hour and some change ride. And we're making it through, and and I say, "Hey Bob, I was taking over a while." He goes, "Oh, no problem." He jumps in there, and we take off. And out of nowhere, the GPS goes, "Hey, save an hour by going this way." And we're like, "Wait a minute, why are we going to save an hour when we're on the trail and we're doing 75 mile an hour, right?" And so the internet starts lighting up that there's a wreck. So off we go. Phew. And we go on these back roads of Kentucky because we're 50 miles Kentucky side of Cincinnati. And we are making time. We're like looking at like we're going to make it home around 4 or 5 o'clock, somewhere in that time frame. They're like, okay. We get into the back roads and off we go. And it's like this. I mean, for a guy that gets car sick, it was not very fun, but we were making it through. And Bob takes his turn, and next thing you know, there's a line of cars coming this way on us. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And
They was coming back up the on-ramp.
yeah, so they were coming off the highway trying to escape where we were driving around. Well, we had turned into the traffic, and we're like, oh geez, what are we going to do now? Well, now we're hearing delays in every which way, so we just decided to get on the highway and leave it. Well, we ran into cars coming up the on-ramp.
Yeah.
They were turning around and they were just zipping up in there. Well, we get in there and we're sitting. And I roll down the window and I hear fire alarms, the fire trucks going by. And I'm like, why are they over, about, a couple blocks over? Because that was where the other road was paralleling the highway. Come to find out that all those ding dongs that was trying to go up the on-ramp were trying to do like 70, 80 mile an hour in the back roads and didn't know how to do it, and caused a wreck of their own. As it turns out, we got released earlier than they did.
Yeah.
So, but we made it back about 8:30, 9 o'clock. That's how much traffic was being held back. Store my game inside just as well as my clubs. Good job, Mr. Charlie. Thank you. There's Bill Nauman. Welcome back to reality. Hope you had a great vacation. It was very good. The places to go eat, I recommend the Donut Hole if you like donuts or even a breakfast. That was a great place to go. The best burger in town was the Miller's Ale House, and we had some good seafood. There was a place called the Crab Trap, but I had crab and linguine. I thought it was fine. But what was the other place with the seafood?
Oh, that was Bubba Gump's.
Yeah, we went to Bubba Gump's, and it was actually really good.
Yeah, it was.
It was good food all around.
The donut hole, Jim says, Bob said, "Look, that donut over big as your head." I actually think it was bigger than my head.
It was a apple fritter. It was about half the size of a basketball.
Oh yeah,
it was huge.
Took me 3 days to eat it.
Yep. All righty, Matt. I do the same thing after my fitting with Jim. I went to Chrome Soft and buy about 3 dozen, store in my bag, getting full. That's because you don't lose any, Matt, you dog. All right, Jack, good afternoon from a cold Lombard, 80 last week, 40s today. Jack, I feel your pain.
Yes.
Actually, we are feeling your pain. It's in the 40s right now, and hopefully to turn around and get better. Grayling Slayer, how you doing, buddy? Grayling was the name of a submarine. But hello there. Yeah. Michael says, here in Montreal, sprinklers are open, raining for the next 3 days. Oh, my goodness. You know what? Eventually, this weather's got to stop and allow for some golf. Chrome Soft's a nice ball. It's a really good feel. Currently, I use the Z Star. That's another good ball. With all the sales, I am stocked up. Good job, man. You know what? We actually played because we were playing I played the LS ball, but shockingly enough, I mistakenly pulled out a Wilson staff ball, their tour ball. Dude, that thing takes off. Very, very energetic. Is definitely worth a look at. Jack says our greens on my course have recovered well, starting to speed up. 10 on a stimp is pretty good. I'll take that all day. As soon as the green recovers, they'll be fast as well. They cut and roll them every day. Good for you. There's Emmanuel. How are you doing? Good evening, all you McGolf gurus and Robin and hope all is well. Very busy here getting golfers up for the season. Very much so, Emmanuel. So here's a good spot since Manuel's a fellow club maker guy. So I finally got a chance to play the Paradym. All right. I have a Rogue and it had the Graphite Design XC shaft in it. And it hit well. I mean, I played it and we hit it well.
Mhm.
And Bob's seen me hit it and it hits well. Now, another customer brought in the AutoFlex shaft. You know, that $800 awesome shaft that's supposed to be all that in a bag of chips. And I put the Paradym head on it just because I needed a place to put it. And I thought, well, let's test out this shaft as well. And for 4 solid holes, I could not keep it on the fairway. It was wide open as big fade and slice. Now, you guys play with me. My normal shot's a pull, and to see a slice is just like seeing stars. And you're like, what is going on? I thought, well, certainly that's just got to be me. So I did a quick adjustment, and off it goes again. The face just would not close. Now, is it because the shaft is so whippy that it was staying open, or is it because it was so stiff it was staying open? I would think it's the latter of the two. And it was the 50 gram, their version of a 50 gram S-Flex, and it felt massively heavy. So I'm not sure if I got if he was given a fake or what, but it just didn't do very good. And so I said, oh, I had enough of this. So I was playing with the guys they were putting in the pool.
Yeah.
And I said, I had enough of this. And I pulled the XC off, put the Paradym on it, set it down, hit it, and I striped one down the middle. And Bob instantly said, that's a 12-stroke penalty for changing the equipment right down there in the middle. But well worth the change, I'm here to tell you. So overall, my impressions of the Paradym was, does it keep you in play? The answer is yes. Yes, it does. Is it massively longer than, say, the Rogue? No, it's not. Is it as long or just a hair longer? The answer would be yes. So the idea here, what they're talking about is the forgiveness factor on this one. And I got away with a lot of crappy shots and still punched them out there. That's the idea of not, when you hit a crappy shot, not go zinging off left or right, but how much distance do you lose? And in this particular instance, not very much. So in that realm, they're telling you the truth. And I threw a few out there. I mean, it wasn't all the time. When I had my good stuff going, it was like I had a couple of 270, 280s out there. And for the rest of the day, it was around 240 to 250. And but yeah, is it a real driver? The answer is yeah. It's something to consider. All righty. There's Paul. How you doing, buddy? Balmy Cincinnati. Golf League canceled tonight. What? Bunch of daggone sissies? I thought you guys were tougher than that. All righty. Is that the one that Weitzel is running, or is he bowed out of that one? And Emmanuel says, hey, Bob.
Hey, Manuel.
He has got one heck of a golf shop. He sent me a picture. He's wearing a McGolf bib.
Yeah.
And he's got a heck of a golf shop. He's doing it right.
Where's he live at?
He's in Emmanuel, you're in New York, right? I think he's in New York. All right, Matt. All right. Hey, Robin, Ryan, Jim, and Bob, about the time limit of live stream. Yeah. Last time me and Matt went on, we went 2 hours.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Mr. Dambunga, welcome back and welcome, Bob. Hope everyone's doing well. Pretty happy tax season is ending. Can't wait to get on the course. Good for you, buddy. All righty. Jack, Charles, we do as well once the grass grows. Still early. I work on the course maintenance grass cutting team. So does Bob.
Yeah.
Bob, and he cuts the greens, and I've never seen anybody as meticulous. And I've watched him do it where he cuts the greens, and if beforehand, because we have a geese problem.
Yes. Bad.
we have a geese problem, and geese poop tears up the blades. And so I've watched him, and he'll get out, he'll jump out, and he carries a blower with him, and he blows it off goose poop until it's time, and then he runs it back and forth and does his thing, and then blows it off again.
Yep.
So when he gets done, man, you got a quality cut green. So he understands. Phil K, happy Monday from Austin. Pinched nerve in the neck, so bad for golf for a couple weeks. Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, Phil, we hope you get her fixed really quick. Good thing you guys didn't head to Fort Lauderdale. No doubt,
really.
right? No doubt. I heard they got really bad storms down there. Need bags on order, invoice when it's ready to ship. There's Robin conducting business. There's Brendan. How are you, buddy? He's in Ireland.
Ireland.
Yep.
Wow.
Got fitted for a triple diamond 9 degree, turned up to 10 and 14 gram back weight. Cali stiff, love the head and shaft combo. So on this one, Brendan, the thing with the triple diamond is you got to be one heck of a ball striker to get the most out of it, which of course you are, right? And once you find the middle of this bad boy, and it sets a little bit open so that you can manipulate and work the club, little smaller to dress because it's a taller face. Very, very, very energetic. It does really, really well. And to get and it actually launches low. Or I'm sorry, it actually launches kind of high. And that's the reason why they had an 8 degree in that, because of all that extra weight in the back. So what you're getting is a low lofted feel with a high lofted, with a 10 degree loft. So it's not bad. I mean, really, 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 it's a good combination in that Kali. That's a pretty stout shaft. So hopefully you like it a lot. Stephen Polsky, how you doing, sir? Stephen has a question. I have a question about swing weight. How much would switching from a 60 gram driver shaft to a 70 gram affect swing weight? Stephen, it would only add maybe a 1 to 1.5 swing weights. All right, 1 to 1.5 swing weights. So, for instance, even in this guy right here, so it depends on the profile. You've heard of counterbalance, right? So if you went from a 60 gram standard to a 70 gram counterbalance, you very well may not notice a thing. Go the other way, and you might notice a tremendous change, right? A tremendous change. But here here's one. So we got Bob, right? So here's an 85. Feel that, right? Just not bad, right?
Nope.
Now here's 95. Can
Wow.
Can you tell the difference?
Yes, I can.
Wow. That's 10 grams. So it's funny. From a swing weight perspective, Stephen, the number that you get will not be very much bigger. It might be like if you're a D2, you might go to D3, but it will have a significantly overall weight feel that will be different. It very well may be for a guy that's a little bit aggressive, may actually balance out and feel a little bit better. Look at that. Matt saying, hi, Bob.
Hey, Matt.
There's Krister from Sweden. Hey, I saw you finally made it out to I saw on the, Instagram that you made it out to the driving range. Hello from Sweden. Finally, the sun and the heat are here. I saw that. The gate will open soon, driving range. And pay and play course open last weekend. I saw that, man. I saw the course, or I saw your swing. You got to watch using that upper body a little too much. I know he had pneumonia.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he had pneumonia. He was in the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah. Watch the use of that upper body a little too much, brother. All right. Charlie talking to Krister. Slats. Greetings from SoCal. No, hello there, sir. Thanks for coming in. Do you have opinions on PXG hybrids? Was thinking about one of their extra forgiveness hybrids. I really don't have a whole lot of experience with the actual hitting of PXGs. From an iron perspective, I would think that they're in line with anybody else, more so with the ping line than anybody. Softer because they use softer metals, and it'll have more of a muted. Because I say they put iguana spit in it because it's a hollow body club, and it's filled with a kind of a goo. And as far as the hybrids, now I got to say I've had a handful of hybrids in here for reshafts, and they all look extraordinarily nice. If nothing else, they really spend a lot of time on the cosmetics of the club, and they look really, really nice. Performance-wise, I couldn't tell you, but I can't believe that they wouldn't be anywhere so far out of bounds that it would be terrible. Now, you guys saw where I did the video on the hybrid, and we did the Wilson, the Srixon, the Callaway, and the Mizuno. I would think that the PXG would probably fall in that number 2 or 3 category. Yes, I would agree. Nick Page, refurbishing an older Scotty Cameron, replacing the insert. What kind of double-sided tape should I put behind to? Ooh. That's Nick, that's a tough one, Nick, because it depends on if you're using like the TI. What was the name of that deck on? What had all the dots on it? That Scotty Cameron. It was a TI Cooper where you can screw the face. You can hold the face in with 2 screws. And if you're doing that, then anything you put behind it will give it a softer feel. All right. And I wouldn't, but you got to be really, really careful, because if the tape's not in there to an exact, the face can change on you. So I would just go with just a normal double-sided grip tape and put it in there, because you don't want it to be too much. If too much, it'll stick out and it'll be bad. It'll just be bad. If you're putting in there and somehow you've pried out a insert somewhere else, you're going to have a bit of a problem. I just glue it right back in. John Timmons, good afternoon. Weather is nice in Arizona. Great golfing times. John, thank you. I wanted to say something else, but we'll say thank you. Good for you, man. Sonny V, he's in Canada. Has it gotten better up there, bud? Oh, look at that. Krister shot a 1 over par 69 at the pay and play. Good for him. Oh, here we go, Sonny V. The courses are slowly opening here, still a bit wet and cold. Heading to Myrtle Beach on Saturday for a week to kick off the season. You enjoy, man.
Yeah.
You enjoy. And you let us know which one was your favorite when you were down there. That one will be a lot of fun. My dog Rex, Dad didn't let me win Easter golf at the Villages. I played well, 36 hole, and only lost 1 ball. Man, old man's tough. Good for him, though. Jack, Matt, I don't know how many I use in a year, but since I work at a course, I find more than I lose. I only keep the better ones. The rest go to Goodwill or the practice range. That's it. How many do you find when you're out there?
I'll leave them lay. I get tired of picking them up.
There you go. Oh, and you find them in just the weirdest places,
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Well, I get them, put them on the mower, and then the members, I just give them to them. But most of the time anymore, I just leave them lay. I don't even pick them up
There you go.
because there are so many.
My dog Rex, there you go. Krister, the putting was great today. I really love the Yes Tiffany squash putter. Oh, my God. So remember I was telling you about the guy that set out the putting green and had that putt out, that banana-looking thing where you hit it into the hole and it locks in there?
Yeah.
So this guy sets up Instagram and videos himself making 6 in a row at a bare minimum. Bonk. He grabs it, comes back, bonk, hits it, and rest. Dude, that was spectacular. It was very, very nice. All right. Did you visit the ABC store? Yes, I did, Charles. And there's a story even on that one as well. However, they did not have the Glenfiddich 14. It was of all the Glenfiddichs that were gone, that was the one that was empty on the shelf. And I thought about they had a Sherry Oak 12-year-old, and I thought about that one. And I said, no, we talked about the 14, and that's what we're going to do. And so that's what I did. However, I did pick up one I've never heard of before. It sounds like a newer Scotch company, and we'll have to try that the next time around. And I did pick up a couple. I bought a Michter's bourbon, and but the rest of it was stuff for my dad. When it came right down to it.
The ABC store just amazed me. There was one bottle in there that was $5,000.
Oh, geez.
I was just like, wow.
What they did now, last time I was there, they used to have this case where all the very, 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 very expensive bottles were at. And in this case, they were all gone. I'm like, well, where they're at? And they're in the vault. Well, let's go to the vault. And he said, well, you gotta have so many points to go into the vault. I'm sitting here willing to pay some money to go in the vault, and you won't let me go in the vault. No. I'm like, all right. So I'm not going in the vault. All right. Craig Knutson. A friend of mine bought a Stealth 7 iron head online. It must be from a fitting cart. Are those able to be adapted to a regular golf shaft, or are they specifically going on a fitting shafts? Well, in most cases, Craig, across the board, if there is a hole on the bottom of the iron for which you got to wrench down, right? You run a screw into the bottom, then the answer to that would be yes. That is only for fitting carts, because these clubs are redesigned to have these holes drilled in, and some of the interior of the hosel has these gear teeth in them, so that the fitting shaft will go in there and it will align itself properly, and then you screw it down, much like a driver. Okay, very much like a driver. Now, there are other companies that will take it and you can screw the head in there, and then you click it and you wrench it down. Again, the same thing, because now there are threads in there. And so, yeah, if you got a 7 iron head and it has a hole in the bottom that has a screw going through it or something of that nature, then the answer is yes, it's on a fitting cart, and no, you don't want to use it for normal. He bought more than I did. Well, I don't know if you bought all those other bottles. I don't know if you probably bought more than me. Michael says he plays the Srixon soft fields. Love them. My kind of speed. They're amazing. About 4 dozen a season, 50 games. There you go. The soft fields are actually quite a nice little ball. Mm-hmm. They go out there pretty decent.
MERCs were good balls.
We got Bob into the Callaway ERC, and it had the American flags on it, didn't it? The soccer balls.
These just had the stripes on them.
Oh, okay. Had the stripe, and he was killing it. All right. Actually thinking of getting the Paradym Triple Diamond 5 wood. The ball rockets off the face. Yes, I'm in Staten Island. There you go. He's in Staten Island. That's Emmanuel again. The Triple Diamond, that was, dude, you were a hell of a ball striker. If you can get, well, in the 7 wood, that would, you know what? Or the 5 wood, that might not be such a bad thing. In a fairway wood, that Triple Diamond, and Bob absolutely clobbers his fairway wood. He's got a 4 wood that he hits as far as anything I've ever seen, and just absolutely smacks the middle of it.
Couldn't hit a 3 wood to save my life.
Yep, going down half of an inch and a little bit of loft, and this thing sails, absolutely sails. Well, that was the new and interesting way of making a 5.
Yeah.
on a par 5. What are you going to hit? 4 wood, 4 wood, 4 wood, and 2 putt. And that's just because of the way the wind was playing us. All right. There's Cam McMaster. He's out of Canada as well. Just popping to say hello. I'm stuck out in the rain welding on an excavator tonight listening to the show. Well, you go, man. Thank you for joining us. Danny, nice sunny day, but windy, playing tomorrow. There you go. Well done, sir. What's Bob's opinion on how the greens were cut when you guys played? Ooh, good question.
Well, I thought they was long. It looked like they hadn't cut them. And it just, what was the one that the guy said the greens was
The
same
same?
as the putting green?
Indian Bayou.
Indian Bayou they was as quick as the putting green. You don't see that much.
He's right. They looked and felt a little bit long. And again, I'm thinking that's the beginning of the season. But if that is, then give me nighttime rates or something like that.
I don't know who they had putting the cups in, but I don't know how many you missed, and I missed a truckload of them. Like where they get right to the hole. I mean, an inch or two from the hole and break.
Yep, and we were missing a lot. Now we told one guy who was at Indian Bayou. We told him about the guy leaving a ring about it. Literally, it was easily a foot to a foot and a half in diameter.
Yep.
And we told him that, hey, look, everything's nice out there, but the green guy is leaving. He's leaving a donut, and the guy got real serious. He says, really, you need to walk right up in there and tell that pro, because he'll get on that greenskeeper, and that greenskeeper will get on the guy doing it. I guarantee you, run out there with a roller right now.
Yep.
I was like, well, I don't want to. We're not there to, get everybody all shook up, but just let you know for the next time they go to fix it. Dean Anderson just got off work. Good for you, buddy. Hope all is well. Same for you. All right. Strixon Field for me does the job pretty good. That Strixon soft field. Remember, if you guys remember, the Strixon soft field and then the Laddie ball.
Yeah, the Laddie.
Yeah, the Laddie. Those are in the same category at the same time. Pro tip to get rid of geese: lasers, like a laser level, freaks them right out. Side note: we call them Canadian cobra chickens.
Well, that's good to know, Cam, because you got to chase them off the fairway to play. I mean, you can't hit off the tee without them being in the fairway.
Yeah, they're protected up here, or down here for that case where you're at. Lasers, like a laser level. That'd be something. Let's see how that works out. You take that while you're out there mowing and hit them with the laser.
Yeah.
Duke K, what do you say? My Makefield putter and triple diamond are rocking. Good for you, brother. Glad to see it's working. I got to tell you, we put I couldn't explain it anymore. I know that I've told you guys this story before. When we go out putting, if Bob's 40 foot out, it's a gimme. But if he's 4 foot out, he's putting. And it was like that all week long, except for the ones that were veering. But he was throwing his around, and I thought, I didn't, I'm like king of the 3 putts, and really didn't have a whole lot of those.
Yeah. So
yeah, I'm all about it. Grayling Slander built my own set of Maltby STI 2 4-iron through the pitching wedge. Nice. A few years back, thanks for your videos. I'm a fly fishing guide in Alaska. Oh, okay. Now we know why the grayling slayer. Mainly for Arctic grayling. There it is. The fish. All right. Which is the reason why the sub was called that. Good for you. The STI 2 is not a bad iron. It's a good, it's not a world killer, but for what it is very, very nice. Got a good feel. Makefield, yep, we got that one. Stephen Polsky, thanks, Jim. I find the 60 gram light for me. I struggle knowing where the club is. Well, then you would certainly like the 70. But Stephen, and honestly, for the drivers that you've got, I would look at the aftermarket to add a little bit more weight. Normally, those things run with a 6 or an 8 gram in there. Very rarely do you see a 10. If you go on there and find some aftermarkets, particularly with the Rogue stuff, it's out there. You can get you like a 12 gram and put it, because they're just basically blocks of weight that go underneath the curvature of that copper looking color, and you can buy those things in aftermarket now and make them just a hair heavier. That might work for you a little bit better. DNA, your club's arrived. Alrighty. Here we go. Daniel Zimmer, 12 inches of snow in Wisconsin today.
Oh, man.
I saw that in the news, man, where you guys got hit with some serious snow. My sister lives in just over the line from Illinois and Pleasant Prairie, and she showed it, and it was just getting started and already had like an inch of snow on it. So yeah, that was not too good.
Wow.
John Timmons, my scores keep coming down with my new Mizuno 923 Hot Metal Z-Star golf balls. Good coaching from my pro Paul Pertzer. Love the game. Good deal, man. The 923 Hot Metals is definitely a quality club. Brian Stivers, I took off a while from golf and YouTube, but I'm back. Hope all is well. Well, I'm glad to see you're back, Brian. If you got any questions, throw it at us. John Lamb, he's living in Ohio, lived near Dayton for quite a few years. Have you developed a taste for Buffalo Trace bourbon? Well, John, the real problem is you can't find it here. It's always gone. It is always gone. I'm told it's something else. Now, what I have come across is another company has taken Buffalo Trace and making pre-mixed old fashions. And I've had some of that, and yes, it is very, very nice. The other one is here as of late, and it's not going to be at the level of maybe a Buffalo Trace, but there's one out there called just Cincinnati, and there's 3 different varieties, and the blue one is a single barrel, and it's 120 proof. And if you want to get back in shape, buddy, woo, that'll help it. But it's got a really nice vanilla afternote on it. There's PZ. Hello, golf people. I saw you were doing pretty good for yourself, man. Leagues are all done. Got a lot going on in the shops. Well done. Cam Music. How important is it to you to pick a model make of no golf ball? How is it important to you to make a model of no golf ball? Love using my Srixon Divide. Often play the Chrome Soft XLS or Wilson Triad. I am hurting my game switching. Okay, so eventually, when you go through some fittings, in some cases, not all, you might get a chance to hit a variety of golf balls. And that's not everywhere. And normally what it is, it's a relationship between club head speed and your quality of hit. Now, I swing a little bit faster than Bob, but Bob tends to find the middle of the club face better than I do. So he can use a golf ball that maybe somebody that with a little higher swing speed would like to use, because he gets a result out of the ball from hitting the middle face better than somebody like me who doesn't. I hit mostly on the toe, hence the reason why a lot of spin. And so that's where you can get that kind of stuff at. Now, the second, those are 2 very important conditions to get in a golf ball. The third most important reason is your wallet.
Yeah.
Right? How much do these things cost? Because they're not getting cheap anymore. And so you have to take that into account. And now, are the differences in the golf ball going to be that great? Well, within the one category of golf ball. So I divide the golf ball into several categories. One is the tour level, which is like the Pro V1s, the Chrome Softs, TP5s, the Z Stars, that level. Everybody knows those, right? The difference in those things might be 2 yards difference, but the control or the consistency is what might be what changes your mind on a lot of these things. The second tier is what I call the performance tier. And the performance tier has 2 categories in it. One is I want to be like the tour ball, which is the ERC that he likes to play, the AVTs, the triads, those kinds of golf balls, the E12s from Bridgestone. all quality golf balls, but they all play a little bit different than one and the other. And then the last one is the super soft category, which is exactly what it sounds like. The soft feels, the super softs, the the Wilson duos, those kind of things. Those are the ones that there's a little slightly slower swing speed, still making good contact, can get the most out of, right? Now I know there's been studies out there, the harder golf ball goes further, and it does go further because it's so hard, right? But what they don't tell you is there's no stopping power. So you got to get what fits your game. If you're a guy that likes to hit a pitch and run, then yeah, a really hard golf ball will be it. If you're a shot maker and you're throwing darts and you want it to be very precise in where you're at, then one that's softer will work better. So are you going to the Chrome Soft XLS and the Wilson Triad couldn't be any more different. All right, could not be any more different. Now the Wilson Triad and the Divide are very, very close to one another. So now, depending on where you play, you might find that the LS ball works a little bit better than, say, where the other two would work. So as long as you're being very smart about your choices, I don't see it as being a problem. All right. About golf grinding, I just like the curved leading edge on my 52 and would like it to straighten it. I don't have a belt sander, but do have some hand files. Would it be possible to do this by hand? Very much so. And probably be a little bit more precise, right? You use a file.
Mm-hmm.
So what he's talking about is you've got this curvature on the leading edge of the wedge, and basically what you're talking about is killing the leading edge. And what you can do is, you can take it and you can take the rough file. And I would suggest if you got the wide one, get after it with the real rough. So, because you got to remove a lot of metal really quick. And then once you get down in there, get into like the medium or even the rat tail files that are very, very fine. And then you get back and forth on those things. And then that way you can smooth it out, because the last thing you want is a rough face. But the answer is yes, you can. Cam saying, hit that like button. I don't disagree. Thank you, Cam. Just uploaded 2 shorts and I'm putting on the course. Or putting on the course. Are you making them all or what? I'll have to look that up. I don't have it with me right now. Just got out to play. Got sunburned. 86 degrees. You are the man. Got a little freezing rain and snow. Height of 34 today.
Oh, man.
Yahoo! That was a change. All righty. Robin saying hit the like button. Slats gave a thumbs up. Very good. Thank you, sir. Mike Morris, longtime watcher, first-time questioner. I like that when you get on those radio programs. They go, long-time listener, first-time caller. Thank you. Thanks for all the great content. How would one swing weight a set of clubs with the same shaft length? Do you add weight to the butt for 8, 9, and pitching wedge? I got to think about this for a moment. No, you would not. You would put it in the head. All right, so let's go over this. So if you're going to make the 8, the 9, and the pitching wedge, and they're traditional, like the kinds of clubs that we use, the 8 iron is the lightest, 9 iron being the next heaviest, and the pitching wedge being the heaviest. And if we're doing it right, it's about 7 grams. Okay, and so that, and now if you're going, so they're already lighter, but they're that way because of their length, and their length is it's a half an inch from the 8 iron to the 9, from the 9 to the pitch. So what you're talking about is your 8 iron is going to be an inch short, your 9 iron is going to be a half an inch short, and your pitching wedge is going to be the same. So you really don't have to touch that. So assuming that's what you're building it off of, you're going to need 3 swing weight points of making up for the 9 iron, which is going to be 6 grams for the 9, and then 12 to about 24, which you may not get to. All right, because the most they put in there, the most you can actually do and be professional about it is a 10 to 12 gram. It'll be heavier, it just won't be as heavy. So you want to be careful with that. Tony, this is Tony from Toronto. Hello there. Question: reshafting my hybrid. I did take an 8-hour class at the golf mission. Oh, okay, very cool. Do you allow for the top of the grip cap? When it comes to, I got to go back. Tony. What was he asking us before? I don't see it. There it is. When reshafting my hybrid. Oh, okay. I do not. All right. When I do it, I do not. It ends up making it just a hair heavier, but not a perceivable amount. All righty. Steve Bird. Hi, from the UK. How are you, sir? A year ago, he purchased a 360cc driver from a small club maker in Scotland. He makes the same driver in 460. Would it benefit from a larger head? Well, so if you had a larger head, it's going to be more forgiving. That's just the bigger the size, the better you can be on a miss hit because there's just so much more real estate to hit on, right? A 360 is literally approaching a 3-wood nowadays. And so yeah, it would be way more forgiving. And the 460 version of it won't be identical because it's not. I mean, it sounds silly, but that's the 460 will feel maybe a little softer, and you'll be able to get a little bit more forgiving when you get out there. And so, but yeah, it would be certainly be an easier using club. Ah, okay, very cool. Cam, on those laser here's some more. The green laxer pointer will work as well. A quick Google and Amazon search, $10, 15. Interesting results. Hope you guys do too.
That'll be interesting. I'll tell Brock that.
All right. Chris, what are you saying, buddy? If you're in 9-iron, a soft 9-iron 150, go back to the tips. Well, if I could get back out there, buddy. You know, the funny part, now that you say that, because we go out there. So here's the thing. When you talk about playing from these different tees, right? And we go out there and with the idea that, and the idea of these tees are not necessarily your age, but your capability to get to par, right? Yep. And normally, if you can play bogey golf from the tee, you're doing pretty good, and you're doing that. So last year we were doing the workouts in the whole 9 yards that I could play from the blues and score as decently as anything else. Bob could play from back there too. He just don't like to. He doesn't like to. And he can play. He plays up and he shoots in the 70s, where I go in the back and I shoot into the 80s. So that goes to tell you where we're at. And but the funny part is that we went back there and I said, let's play from the tips. And he gave me the side eye like, are you nuttier than a fruitcake? I said, let's just see what happens. And we took off and we started playing and we looked at each other and said, well, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah, we actually played better from the tips.
Yeah, because you knew the thing is it's a different mindset, right? Because you're just not going to get there on that next shot, on that first shot. So there's no need to come out of your shoes to try and hit one way out there to make a shorter second shot, because there's just not going to be a shorter second shot. So you're playing golf and the clubs are working like they're supposed to, and literally you're literally getting on the green in the same way, unless you get Aaron, of course, but you're getting on the same way. It just, instead of hitting the 9-iron into the green, you might be hitting a 7-iron into the green. Okay. Right. But it was really kind of a cool little experiment of what we were doing. All right, Brian Stivers. You know any manufacturers that make new irons with 0 offset? Been playing some scratch. Oh, geez, the scratch ones. Grooves are getting a little bit out of the middle. My best getting them restored. No. As a matter of fact, Mizuno makes one with a 0 offset. Now let me show you. Let me get one. Get one. It's a blade. It's a blade. Let me get one here. There we go. Now that's a 225. Let me get another one. There's that's 225. There's a blade. And then we got this guy here too. All right. And then, okay. So this comes pretty close to a 0 offset right here. And I don't know if I can show it to you correctly, but there you go. 0 offset. I would look at the Mizuno 221. It's very, 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 very close. The other one, and nobody's used it. That goes to tell you what kind of player you got to be to hit this guy. And this is the Mizuno JPX Tour. Now that one has maybe a millimeter. All right, as I'm looking at it, maybe has a millimeter. There we go. That's how I show it to you like that. That one's right there. And there's that one. There you go. So those are the ones that come as close to, if they're not 0, they should be, and they're very, very low like that. As far as knowing anybody that truly makes a full-on, that they come into a 0 offset, the only other group that I would consider looking at would be Mura. Mura probably does in their little baby blades, and I would look at them. Gentlemen, we have a Calcutta trip going to Golden, British Columbia next month. 80 guys. Wow. 2-man teams, 1836, 18 over. Alternate shot, Scotch doubles. Teams form the first day. Wish you luck. Well, yeah, bud. Yeah, good luck. Holy cow, 80 guys. I feel sorry for Golden, BC, bud. They're just getting on the lake to hit. Getting on the lake to hit balls for about another month. Half the local course is still under 2 foot of snow. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
So they must be hitting onto a frozen lake. With old beater clubs. Good for you, man. There you go. What we got? Branch Ranch. What a great channel. Well, thank you, sir. Efren Nava, how's it going? Hope all is well. Thank you. It's going very, very well. Look at that. 652, Bob, and we got down to the bottom. We got all the way to the bottom. Look at that. We did it. So Matt, your record is still intact, brother. Your record is still intact. So anything to recap anything. So what'd you think? What was the number 1 course we played?
Oh, down there definitely had to be Indian Bayou.
And what was the least favorite of the class?
Regatta Bay.
I'd agree. So Indian Bayou, Windswept, Lynx,
Yeah.
and Regatta Bay, or Kelly Plantation, and then Regatta Bay. This is how we would pick them. And, a lot has to do with how you play, that kind of stuff. But as far as course conditions, cost, the whole nine, taking all that into account, I think we would do that. Would I dissuade you from going to Destin, Florida as a vacation spot? Absolutely not.
Nope.
The place was absolutely very, very clean. It was very, very nice. And the beaches were awesome. And as long as you have some good weather, you will enjoy it. And if you weren't, now I will say the other part to this was the golf, unlike like going to Myrtle Beach, you could travel 45 minutes to an hour to get to a golf course. The furthest we ever drove to go to any of these courses was a grand total of 12 minutes, right? 12 minutes. And there was one that was across the street.
Yep. It
was 2 miles away. And so it's all extraordinarily easy to access. So if you're looking for something like that, that's where you need to be. All righty. So hopefully you guys like and subscribe. The video will be late this week because of getting back on vacation, but we are going to talk about the Wilson driver. I will tell you it is very, very, very stout. I just hit the TI. I hit the TI club just a couple of times, and it did extraordinarily well. We were real happy with it. So again, like and subscribe. Watch for the videos. It will certainly come out. And as always, let's see your scores go low.